Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me. I am Kellee Williams, Lifestyle Management Coach, and if you're watching this video, it's probably because you found me on Clubhouse. Yes. So, if you know anything about Clubhouse, you get into these rooms and you learn so much stuff, and there's so much you want to capture, and we can't record. It's against the policy of Clubhouse. You can't, it's hard to take notes, especially if you're driving. So, I have made it easy for the rooms that I've been in and the rooms that I moderate. I will bring to you the notes from that room in 10 minutes or less, okay? So, yesterday, which would have been December 22nd, approximately 9 p.m., we had a room called Content Creation for Podcasters and Coaches. Okay, the room held about 15 people at its height, and it was a nice gathering of podcasters and coaches that came to discuss what it is that we do for content. All right, so we went through about 3 different methods of ways that you can get content, and then we discussed questions, comments, and concerns. So that's what I'm going to review for you. Alrighty, so the 3 methods are: there's a way that you can get 60 pieces of comments, 60 pieces of content. Then there's a way that you can get 48 pieces of content, which if you do some math, you can actually do more than that. And then I will share with you another method. The first method is the 60, and that's what I did. I take 6 main topics and 10 subcategories from each main topic, and each week I assign that topic to my week. So I will podcast on that topic. I will, I don't blog, but all of my social media posts will be around that topic. I host a coaching call on Thursday evenings. My coaching call will be about that topic. I make it easy and I plan for it ahead of time. So throughout the year, I can constantly be gathering information and what I need and assigning it to that topic. Okay, so that's what I do. Then the next method was somebody named Ariel. She's a coach. She brought some valuable information. She said that she does 12 main topics and 4 subcategories, and that's how she assigns her week, by using one of those 4 subcategories. It's pretty much the same thing, it's just different math, right? Okay. Then the next option, what did I say, 3? I think there's 4. The next option was I did take notes. Why don't I look at those? The next option was to go to your Instagram insights and look at the posts that got the most engagement within the last year, or posts that had high engagement within the last year. Recreate that post. Either create new graphics, but recreate that post, and then go in and look at what some of the comments were, and you might even be able to get more information and more things to say on your post, or things for your captions, just from that post. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And if you get to the point where you're a little like, oh, I need to post, that is something you can do. It's easy and you've already got it right at your fingertips. Then the next thing, Lavon, she is a consultant, and she said that one of the things that's beneficial for her as far as content creation is when she is doing consultations and consulting with companies, the questions that they ask become her topics of her subject matter for content creation. So we can generate content lots of different ways so that it doesn't become overwhelming when we've got to show up for our group or when we have to show up on our podcast. Alrighty, so those are the methods. The next thing we did was talked about the length of a podcast. That was something that came up often. And the easy answer for that is the length of the podcast is 1, what you have the capacity to do, and 2, what you think your audience wants to see from you. Easy, okay? The next thing we talked about was taking breaks and consistency, because some people do podcasts by themselves, and then some people have podcasts with other people. One of the ladies that was in the room said she's 7 months pregnant, so she's going to be needing to take a leave, right? So what can they do to ensure that their audience is going to have a podcast? They can pre-record, right? And they can, they don't have to, but that's just an option. So by having a lot of content created, if you have the opportunity to go and do that recording, you're able to do that so that you don't have to fuss or come up with something last minute. I will tell you right now, I'm probably about 2 weeks ahead on my podcasting and about a week ahead on my content creation for my social media post. I have everything planned, so I know what I'm going to do, right? So when you want to take a break, or when you don't want to physically have to be there, your work is already there, so it's as easy as pushing a button or scheduling it. Which brings me to the next thing. We talked about scheduling apps. So people threw out lots of different ones. For Facebook, I personally use, and then other people mentioned this too, they use the one that Facebook provides for Business Suite. Okay, so we use Business Suite for that. Somebody also talked about Headliner and Planoly, so you can use those for content scheduling. But somebody did say something, and this is what I heard. I agree. She says that she just merely has an alarm on her phone, and it just reminds her to schedule her to post her content. An alarm she created by herself. They say that the algorithms don't respond well to third-party schedulers. So I had heard that too. So when it comes to Instagram, I do save the drafts of my posts, and then for me at 6 p.m. when my alarm goes off, I hit that button and I'm ready to post. So we talked about that as far as scheduling goes. Then someone asked a question about the frequency of guests. How often should they have guests on their podcast? Again, that's going to be a matter of personal preference. If you're able to get guests to come, which should be easy, then yeah, by all means, that's a matter of personal preference. Then someone also asked about, as it relates to guests, about having professionals on. Is it a good idea to have professionals on? And he said that he can talk about marriage in his podcast, but he would like to have a therapist or, somebody with the letters behind their name. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. And as a matter of fact, I think that helps validate your point and your message to your audience. It shows that what you've been saying or what you will now apply because of what you've heard comes from a reliable, trusted source. So I think that's a good idea. We also talked about ways to prevent overwhelm, and Ariel, the coach, she had a great idea. She said that she invested in a content calendar. She paid the money, invested in a content calendar created just for her in her business. She said it was worth the investment. She does not have to think about much. I suggest you do the same thing. You can go on Pinterest, you can find one. You can Google it and you can find one. It's pretty easy. If you need a social media planner or a content planner that gives you ideas or tells you what to post on what days, it's easy to do, and I think that's a great suggestion. Alrighty, so let me take a look at my notes. I think I have everything covered that we talked about. Oh no, we talked about podcast formats. That was a big one because we talked about doing it solo, doing it as a conversation with more than one person, and then doing it, with two people. And however you decide to format your podcast, whatever you decide to do with it is going to be up to you. I promise you, there are people that are right now, whether they know it or you know it, they are waiting for your podcast. They are waiting for the way you're going to deliver it, the way you're going to speak, or whatever content that you are going to bring that's going to speak directly to them. Okay? Alrighty, so I think I've been less than 10 minutes. This was the review of the room. We had a wonderful time. It did actually last about 2 hours and maybe about 20 minutes. But I'm so glad that you've joined me today so that you can hear the review of the room and get the gist of what we talked about. I will continue to review rooms that I moderate and rooms that I've been in for lengths of time that I think that people would really enjoy the message if they weren't able to join, okay? So again, thank you so much. Please share this video with someone that may need it. It's a simple little video about content creation, they can also go to myclubnotes.com and they can get notified when these videos drop. So you should probably get one every few days or so whenever I moderate a room or whenever I've been in one that I think you guys might find value in. So again, thank you so much. My name is Kellee Williams. Oh, I didn't even tell you, I have a podcast. The name of my podcast is the Chica-Life podcast. It is available at all the podcast places, or you can go to my website and get it, which is justkellee.com. That's JUSTKELLEE.com, and you can have access to that. I will post all of this stuff, the links to the things that I talked about in the description. Alrighty? Okay, so until next time, adios.